agricultural news, information, interviews, in-depth weather, and more. It's Terry Henne and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly cloudy and snowy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. A little bit of snow out there here at Radio Center. Terry Henne along with Matthew Lester. And Matthew, a little sloppy out there right now here in the Great Lakes Bay Area, specifically in our section, Saginaw, Tittabawassee, downtown Saginaw, and areas to the immediate south. We're looking at some sloppy conditions, but for the most part, you get to go wherever you want to go without too much trouble. Just take your time, right?
Yeah, I had my college class earlier, and me and my friend, we didn't have any problems. Just, drive slow, drive safe.
Yeah, and at this stage of the game, our temperatures are going to continue to rise ever so slowly. We project a high temperature a little bit later on this afternoon of 38 degrees. Matthew, where are we at right now?
Well, over in Midland, we have light snow at 33. Over at the airport, we also have light snow at 33. Here at Radio Center, it's snowy at 32. We have northeast winds at 16 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 29.49, and it's falling.
The rain right now is in extreme southeast Michigan, where the temperatures obviously are quite a bit warmer. Detroit is coming in right now at 39. Ann Arbor is 36. Monroe at 38. Ypsilanti at 37. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on there. And it will be almost all liquid as we go into the afternoon hours. More than likely by 3 o'clock this afternoon, we should be here in the Great Lakes Bay Area with light to moderate rain showers. We are anticipating the rain to pick up a little bit in intensity tonight in the early morning hours tomorrow morning before everything turns back into snow. But I got a funny feeling it's probably going to be after 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning that we'll begin to see that transition back to more frozen precipitation and away from the liquid. This system is moving right along. It's tracking just a hair south further than what some of the projections had given it. It does appear as though the snow is going to be moving out of the area here in the central part of the state, but Bay County, Midland County, and areas to the immediate west and north are going to continue to pick up snow as we go through the afternoon. The latest projections that I've seen are indicating that Midland County should pick up somewhere between 3 and 5 inches of snow by the time it's all said and done. Bay County looks like northern Bay County, very close to that as well, and areas to the north. Now, when I say when all things are done, we're going to be talking after noon tomorrow. We anticipate all of the activity to move out of here during the morning hours tomorrow morning. So by noon, we should be looking at mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. That snow will taper off. Northern Michigan, 5 to 8 inches by the time it's all said and done by early tomorrow afternoon. 3 to 5 for the central part and 1 to 3 for Michigan's thumb and southeast Michigan, because southeast Michigan is going to transition back into snow sometime during the morning hours tomorrow morning. That's where they will finally wind up with accumulation. About 7:30 this morning, southeastern Michigan, Ann Arbor, down in that area, they were looking at anywhere from a half inch to an inch of snow. Obviously, all of that now has pretty much gone away as the temperatures have been warming up, and they're not looking at any snow. They're just looking at wet road conditions. So if you've got to travel down in that part of the state, you shouldn't have any issues getting to go where you want to go. Obviously, take your time. The roads are going to be just plain old wet as we go through the afternoon and the evening hours. How wet? Well, it could be a steady rain, but nothing like they have picked up down in the Gulf Coast states. This system is a far-reaching system. We're on the northern end of the system itself, but still, you move down into Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, 2-3 inches of rain, not out of the question. Go a little bit further south down the Gulf Coast states, as we mentioned yesterday and today. So far this morning, we've been looking at not only some very heavy rains around the Biloxi, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama area yesterday afternoon and last evening, about 6-7 o'clock last evening. They were getting over 1.5 inches an hour in that particular part of the country. And they were looking at about 3 hours worth of precipitation before it all ended. And then early this morning, they had tornado watches and warnings up in that part of the country. And all that activity moved into the Florida Panhandle. And there were some unofficial reports of tornadoes that did not touch down. Panama City, Pensacola, and in areas to the immediate east and north of that part of the country. East Coast is going to get hit quite hard with quite a bit of precipitation, and they will be looking at strong gusty winds that will really begin to rev up here later on this afternoon and tonight. It was exceptionally windy along the Gulf Coast. That is going to continue today, later on this afternoon and tonight, up the East Coast, starting with Georgia, moving up into the mid-Atlantic states. Some of the projections indicating 50 to 60 mile per hour winds later on this afternoon and tonight in that part of the country. Now, when this thing finally clears out, for us, it's still going to be a factor for the northeastern 25% of the continental United States, because there is quite a bit of snow in the forecast for the New England states, tracking back into New York State and eastern portions, central portions of Pennsylvania. So a lot of snow in the forecast out of this thing by the time it's all said and done. And we're going to be looking at a clipper system that's going to affect our weather on Thursday. So that's going to give us a little bit of snow to contend with, scattered snow showers. Temperature will be holding in that mid 30 degree range for us tomorrow and Thursday. And then on Friday, as we track through, probably after lunch on Friday, another system is going to be moving in and affecting our weather. This is going to have the potential to be a big one, and it's going to be a little bit longer lasting, simply because the water in the Great Lakes continues to be exceptionally warm. And this third system is going to usher in some much colder temperatures, not so much for Friday, but moving into the weekend. Saturday, our high temperature will be 25. That's high temperature. On Sunday, 22. And then on Monday, 15. That's our projected high temperatures. So, Matthew, you can about imagine what it's going to be like.
Is winter finally here?
I think it's making it. Yep.
Hey.
A little bit late, but for the winter folks, if it's winter, they want it to be winter. Okay, so Mother Nature's going to deliver. She took her good old sweet time, but it looks like next week is going to be very winter-like. We are going to be looking at wind chills on Sunday night and Monday night at 0 or below 0 wind chills.
Yeah, that's a little bit too cold.
Yeah. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, who do we have, Matthew?
Up next, we have Abby Terwilliger from the Andersons and Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
But before we get to all of that, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Incidentally, speaking of Nutrien, tomorrow we're going to be broadcasting live from the Lansing Center, where the Michigan Agribusiness Association is having their annual meeting. It started today. Tomorrow will be a very busy day, and we'll be broadcasting our farm program brought to you in part by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions. And speaking of busy, on Thursday, we're going to be over at the Horizons Conference Center on State Street in Saginaw, where Michigan Sugar Company is going to be having their annual meeting, and we'll be broadcasting the farm program from there as well, brought to you by the folks at ACH Seeds. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Weiss Equipment. Those Farmall tractors are ready to do the job for you, whatever it is. They can take care of whatever you need at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, because they can pair you up with the job and the right Farmall tractor. They carry a good selection of them, and the reason why is because just that. You need a job done, they've got one. They can handle it. The Farmall tractor, whether it's the compact Farmall A series all the way up to the deluxe Farmall C and C series with cabs. No matter what, the tractor does it all. So no matter what you're thinking, can do comes in red, and it's called Farmall. See them today at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, doing it right longer. We say good morning to Abby Terwilliger over at the Andersons. Abby, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Terry. Doing well. Just enjoying this little bit of a snow globe life we have at the moment.
Yeah, there you go. You don't even have to turn this one upside down to get the snow. It's coming.
No.
Abby, yesterday we had kind of a tough start to the day as far as the markets go. It looked like a little bit earlier they were trying to change all that a little bit and heading us in an upward move. What's going on right now?
Yeah, so right now we are up 3 for corn. We're down 0.5 cent on soybeans, up 12 on wheat, actually. So cash price in hemlock right now, $3.93 for corn, $11.87 for soybeans, red wheat $5.10, white wheat $5.65.
Any particular reason why they're changing course here?
I think a lot of it's still going off of South American weather. We do have the WASDE report coming out on Friday, and that is expecting, or the guesses I should say, are soybeans for South America down a little bit and corn up a little bit. And the other, I think wheat, the reason for that is Brazil's having some bad quality, and then also Ukraine is down about 18% in exports.
I was wondering because obviously Ukraine, the conflict is still going on, but for one reason or another, that conflict seems to be dropping off the map when it comes to news reports. And I know it still is playing a big role in our markets.
Yes. It's not as big as role as what it was when, when the war first started over there, but it's still hanging on there a little bit. I think if they have any sort of larger conflict, we could see, some effect of it.
I keep hearing about diesel fuel and some of the things that it takes to do a farm from planting to harvest. There's quite a shortfall of diesel and petroleum products over in the Ukraine right now.
Yeah, that could cause some big issues. Those tractors are not going to run themselves.
No, and the electric technology hasn't made it out there yet, has it?
No, that's a whole nother issue.
Yes, it is. Abby, you take care. Have a good day, okay?
Yes, you too, Terry. Thank you.
You bet. Abby Terwilliger over at the Andersons. Over to Doug Klein from Oppenheimer now. The market report brought to you by Kryzak's House Family Restaurant. We've been talking about Fat Tuesday. I can hardly wait, quite frankly. I mean, it's February the 13th. At Kryzak's House. Always a great time, great fundraising effort. A lot of the dollars go to supporting the Salvation Army up in Bay County, in Bay City. Starts at 5 o'clock in the morning and goes all the way through the lunchtime, and they've got plenty of entertainment there as well. But there's some more pressing issues, like you got to supply the food for an event coming up, right? Well, if you do, 989-894-5531. That's the telephone number. Kryzak's will have the food ready for you. All you got to do is stop by, pick it up, and you're a hero at your event. Krajak's House, corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's south side. And by Steiner Tractor, new parts for old tractors made easy. All you got to do is give them a call. Chances are pretty good they've got the part ready for you. All they got to do is send it out to you, or you can stop by, pick it up. 800-234-3280, or go to their website at steinertractor.com. Doug Klein, good morning.
Good morning.
What are we looking at now?
Well, I think you knew what was going to happen when you reported that weather. Natural gas up 24.5% since January 1st.
Ouch.
How about that? Some people might even have made money on that if they were listening at all.
You think?
You know?
Yeah.
There you go. You can put that one on your collar, your lapel. I made people 24% if they've listened. There you go. Oh, anyway, but the Santa Claus rally failed. The 5-day rally from the first of the year failed. So we're looking at maybe a choppy year in the stock market, but who knows what's going to happen. But they said the crypto money, the dark money, is ramping up for the election. So now that they know that's going to happen, maybe it'll be different this time around. Don't bet on it. What else is going on? Oh, the Nikkei Dow hit a new high for 33-year high. So if you've invested in 1991, you finally broke even from that bear market that they suffered 33 years ago. So I hope I never have to see that in my lifetime. So there you go. All right. So here's your numbers. The March corn is 459.25, up 4 1/4. July corn 480.5, up 2 1/2. The March soybeans 1247 3/4, up 2 1/4. July soybeans 1264 1/4, up 2 1/2. March wheat 608.5, up 12 1/4, and July wheat is 628 3/4, up 11. So crude oil getting a little bit of a bounce, 72.68, up $1.91. Heating oil is $2.64, that's up 6 1/4 cents. Gasoline is $2.09, up 6 1/4 cents. Natural gas $2.63 1/4, that's up 3 1/2 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.33.94 Canadian, that's up 49 ticks. The dollar buys 144.40 yen, that's up 18 ticks. The euro is at 109.23, down 26 ticks. The dollar's at 102.49, up 29 ticks. Gold's at $2,036.60, up $3.10. Silver's $23.23, up down 7.5 cents. And platinum's at $931.60, down $15.10.
You have a good day, Doug.
Thank you. You too.
Talk to you. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Coming up next, who do we have, Matthew?
Up next, we have Jerry Samolsky from the Bay Landscaping and Garden Center, and we also have Craig Voorhees from Rummel Insurance.
And both of them will be around right after this.
It happens after every commercial building gets built.
That looks great, boys. Wow, what a change. The owners are going to be thrilled.
Even after cleaning out the garage or shed. That leftover scrap metal can be a burden, but it doesn't have to be, and it can make you some cash. Rifkin Scrap Iron and Metal is a metal recycling company that'll pay you cash and recycle your metal for the future. Rifkin Scrap Iron and Metal also makes it easy. We can provide containers for industrial manufacturing facilities and small specialty shops for moving and storing scrap metals. Looking to scrap a vehicle? We got you. Rifkin Scrap Iron and Metal in Saginaw, just north of the Dow Event Center. Also located in West Branch, 1 mile off I-75 and M76. Schedule a car pickup or check metal prices now at rifkin-co.com. Rifkin Scrap Iron and Metal, recycling today for tomorrow.
Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. They're ready to take care of you, Mr. Farmer. Get with the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. You can talk to Vic over at Freeland. He's the certified crop advisor. And if you got any questions about what you should be doing here once the weather squares around, he can give you some tips. Freeland Bean and Grain, also your headquarters for Dairyland Seeds. They've been serving you since 1983. Freeland Bean and Grain, where serving you is their business. We say good morning to Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. A little bit of moisture out there, Jerry.
Yes, there is, and it looks like it's going to be maybe wet moisture if we continue to get some accumulation. What do you think, Terry?
I think it's going to turn to a whole lot more in the way of rain. But later on tonight, sometime tomorrow morning, I think it's going to change over back again to snow, and it's going to be windy. We're getting some gusty winds right now, but it's going to be coming out of the west and eventually the northwest tomorrow. So it could present a little bit of a travel issue, especially in the northern half, the lower peninsula.
Yeah, I think, Terry, one of the things we're concerned about with plants and wet snow is particularly some of the arborvitaes, the emerald greens, are ones that have multiple stems that go up. And if we get a heavy snow in them, they bend over and they splay down. Most plants, you want to be really careful because what happens sometimes, we get a wet snow, and then all of a sudden it starts getting colder and it freezes on and they're bent over. And by the time people get out there and beat that snow off the plants, they've done more damage in getting the snow off the plant than trying to get it to stand up. So as long as the snow comes off easily, you might want to bend that or try and brush that snow off and then, tie them up a little bit. But we just don't want to be beating the plants into submission and breaking them up, trying to get that ice off. If they bend over, trust they'll come back, and if not, we'll have to deal with them later.
Good suggestion. Jerry, you take care. Have a good one. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right. Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Over to the Rummel Insurance Agency we go. Craig Voorhees joining me right now. Craig, let's talk a little bit more about vacation. We all would kind of like to have a break.
Yes, Terry, we certainly would, especially to see some sunshine. A popular item to take south with folks is becoming the electric bikes, or the e-bikes as they're commonly known. They are a motorized vehicle, technically. So if you bought one or maybe got one for Christmas, you want to add it to your insurance policy like you would an ATV or a snowmobile or something like that if you want it covered. If you don't, that's perfectly okay. But just know that if you want your investment covered, that's what you have to do.
And it goes on what policy?
It can go on your homeowners or your farm policy would be the best place for it. You could probably get a standalone policy if you really wanted to, but that would probably be cost prohibitive.
Yeah, it's there's always something out there. And the problem is a lot of folks like to use those in kind of heavier trafficked areas.
Yep. So even if you don't want physical damage on it, it's probably a good idea to put liability on it. So if you do get tangled up with a vehicle and somebody files a lawsuit, you want your policy to protect you in those instances also.
And if you get hit on an electric bike, we all know who's going to hurt the worst.
Yeah, that's for sure. And they're also getting some bad publicity of that business that was destroyed in Chesling was, I guess, started by a battery that was in the building. So make sure you're following the manufacturer guidelines on how to store it and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's another feature, batteries. Boy, you just don't know. Just don't know.
No, you don't. You can do everything right and something can still go wrong. And that's what you have insurance for.
Yep. Craig Voorhees, always good to talk. We'll talk to you in a couple days. All right.
All right. Thanks, Terry.
You bet. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Quick break. And then who do we have next?
Up next, we have Steve Anderson from Baird & Co.
Do you have a history of white mold or SDS in your bean fields? While you can never predict when disease will occur, using the right seed treatments can reduce your risk of yield loss when it does. Did you know adding Heads Up to your seed treatment package brings a proven mode of action that primes your beans so they're ready to fight off disease all season long? Ask your seed dealer to apply Heads Up for protection against both white mold and sudden death syndrome this season. Learn more at headsupst.com.
Let's find out what's going on in New York. Steve Anderson over at Baird & Company joining me right now. Steve, what are we looking at today?
We are looking at, it's mixed, but mostly red ink, by the way. Right now we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average at 37,502, down 181. Volume there is 265 million shares. The NASDAQ is ahead by 11 at 14,855. Volume is 381 million shares. Locally, I've got right across the board. Caterpillar 290.22 down 203. Deere 391.65 down 633. CMS 59.39 down 18. Dow 54.05 down 103. DuPont 76.40 down 27. Corteva 46.26 down 75. GM 36.60 down a dime. Trinzio 693 down 44. Walmart 158.04 down 21. Huntington Bank 1298 down 11. Independent Bank 2548 down 22, and AT&T is down 15 cents at 1690, and I am going to quit right there.
Good. But we'll give you another chance tomorrow, all right?
All right, I'll work on it between now and then.
Yeah, there you go. Steve, thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Steve Anderson over at Baird & Company. We'll be right back.
Incoming! Don't worry, it's not raining elephants. That's just the sound of Dairyland Seed delivering our strongest silage lineup ever. Again, get ready for even better trait quality, even greater tonnage potential, and even more milk per acre. See how Dairyland Seed silage outperformed the competition in your area at showmethesilageyield.com. That's showmethesilageyield.com.
Coming up, we haven't mentioned this much at all. There is going to be an organic expo. That is scheduled to take place next week, Thursday and Friday. We're going to be broadcasting from the Clearwater Farms Organic Expo events. That's over in Michigan's Thumb in Tuscola County. That broadcast is going to be kind of a busy one out there. They're anticipating a lot of folks attending that event. The only problem has been, gee, where are we going to find plenty of room to park? Well, if we turn as cold as what we're talking, they might have some frozen land over there that park a lot of cars. But again, mark it down on your calendar. Clearwater Farms Organic Expo. That's a week from this Thursday, starting the 18th and the 19th, I believe it is, of January. Back at 12:30 with an update. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton,